Good morning, little saints. We're listening to Electric Light Orchestra. We need some light, don't we? Sounded dorky. That really sounded dorky. I'm stretching this morning. But the devotion this morning from the Daily Devotional Guide had to do with light. And we are entering this season of light. Lots of songs about light. One of my favorite gospel lessons from the Gospel of John, Jesus is the light of the world. The light has come into the world and the darkness has not overcome it. That light has come into the world and the darkness has not overcome it. I don't know, look it up. Prologue to John. I have a story about that light. One time, I'm going to try to do this really quick. One Easter when I was a pastor, I was practicing reading the gospel lesson, and I was in the habit of picking up the Pew Bible, or the lectionary Bible, the big pulpit Bible, and carrying it out into the congregation as I read the resurrection story. And so I was in the midst of doing that in an empty sanctuary in the evening one night, that was redundant. And anyway, a stranger came in from the front of the church, which, by the way, is almost always locked at that time of day. So this guy comes in and he says, he has a piece of paper in his hand, and he said, "Could you help me look up a scripture reference?" And I said, "Well, sure, here's a Bible." But it's pretty funny. I'm carrying the biggest Bible in the world. And yeah, I can help you do that. So we looked it up, and it was that very verse. The light has come into the world and the darkness has not overcome it. I'm not getting that exactly right. So look it up. Prologue to John. Anyway, what was going on with this man was he had just come from counseling, and his counselor had given him that scripture to think about and ponder, and he did not know how to look up scripture. It's not that he wasn't raised religious, but in his particular religious affiliation, they provided the scripture written out always, and he didn't have the repetitive use of looking up scripture, so he didn't understand how book chapter verse worked to see it written on paper. So anyway, I thought that was really phenomenal. But the last thing was, this man was a light to me, in that he showed up at the most opportune times, at the strangest times, when I was, I don't know, and he caused me to think. He was like he was like a plumb line. Is that too weird to say? To keep me on track, to focus me on where I should be if I was varying from where I should go in ministry. So anyway, all it is to say, he became a light to me because he guided me. I looked to him as a channel, even as he looked to me in helping him find that verse. So I've heard a lot of comments about on the bus, and different people talking about the time change lately, and how it's dark when they leave for work, and it's dark when they get home, and how dreary, it's raining today, how dreary the time is this time of year. And some people even suffer from seasonal depression because of the lack of light. Our challenge as people of faith is to be a light to the world. And that our world, a light to the world, that sounds so big and cosmic, but really it's very small. Our world, my world, your world, is a very, very small place. It's the people you meet every day, and you can be a light to them, and you may not even know. That man had no idea what role he was going to play in my life as he showed up. Or maybe he did, I don't know, but he was definitely a light. So our challenge is to be a light
to the world, meaning a light to those around us. All right? I went way past the subdivision, but that's all right. That happens often on Worshipful Wednesdays, I think. Thanks for sticking with it. Don't forget the contest. Go look on the web. I'll put a link underneath here at Icon Has Grace to the 2011 contest rules. I posted them yesterday. So take a look and get your stories of grace in. Thanks. Peace.